So we got the wooden exterior of this vivarium built now, as I showed you in the first video in this series, and what we're going to be doing next is preparing the background for this enclosure and also waterproofing the base of it. Because these are sort of different topics, I will split it up into two separate videos. So in this one that you're watching, I will do the waterproofing for the bottom of the enclosure, but then very soon after this I will show you how I'm making the background. So what I'm going to do first and foremost for this waterproofing layer is this batten. I'm going to cut to the, I don't know if you call it a batten actually, plank, whatever. I'm going to cut it to the right length of the enclosure and paint it black and then have it sit inside. And on the inside edge I'm going to put a waterproofing material, which is going to be the same waterproofing material that I'm going to put around the rest of the base of the enclosure. So where I'm up to now is I am going to measure up to put some lino in the bottom of this enclosure. It's going to come up like 2 inches, 5 centimetres ish, up the back, up the sides, and then I'm going to have the barrier in front, just here, painted black as I've shown you, and I'm going to put lino on the inside of that. And basically it's just going to be siliconed in. I'll probably put a couple of nails or screws through it as well to make sure it's properly held up. And yeah, that's basically it. Once I've got that done, we can put substrate in without worrying about the damper layers at the bottom of the substrate causing the base of this enclosure to warp and rot over time, because obviously it is wood. Okay, so you can see that this is like the first base piece I've put in. You'll notice it doesn't stretch all the way to this side because the scrap bit of lino that I had lying around isn't long enough, but it doesn't really matter. I'll just cut another piece to go in there, or I've got some spare pond liner or whatever. But while we're here, I will just take a moment to talk about why I am using this and not pond liner. First and foremost, I am choosing to use lino in this build because I have some scrap lying around and it'll save buying more pond liner. But also the problem with pond liner is that over time it does tend to shrink away and it doesn't grip silicone that well. Hopefully though, lino will not face these problems, so over time, rather than sort of peeling back and so on, as has happened in like the other enclosures you can see there, in Charlie B of these enclosure, the pond liner has shrunk away. So hopefully in using this stuff I will not have that issue, and in a couple of years time it'll still be just as good as it is when I first do it. But yeah, I'll crack on with making the other bits and I'll come back in a sec. Whew, okay, so everything is perfectly cut to size now. Well, not perfectly, there's a little gap here, but it doesn't matter, I can cover it with the silicone. You can see what I've done. I've just sort of like made a wall that'll go up the back and up the sides, obviously. Then I'll have the barrier coming across the front to block the substrate in. That'll be made of wood. And obviously another bit up the side. A little bit awkward because it wasn't long enough, so I've had to cut extra pieces. But basically, that is it for cutting it now. So all I'll go do, that doesn't make sense. So all I'll go and do is hold this into place with some nails or screws or whatever, and then I will silicone it in, pop the barrier in the front, and that should be the waterproofing stage complete. So it's the morning of day 3 of the build project, so I think that now would be quite a good time for me to give you another little update as to where we're actually standing with all this. So the silicone in the enclosure is mostly dry now, I think. It doesn't smell too much. I've still got the window open just in case. But that should be done by the end of the day. But mostly what I'm wanting to do is...
Whoa! Hold your horses there, Joe.
With the waterproofing complete, we can steam right ahead with making the background, and I really want to dedicate a separate video to this. So for now, I've been JTB Reptiles teaching you how to follow nature's example, and if you want to keep up to date with this build project, then subscribe and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye guys!